love and living for it. When it comes to treating stroke, the difference between going anywhere else and going to
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM Translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City, Pleasantville.
The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour, Power to the People, talking about the power of the people of Atlantic City, a platform for people to discuss ideas of the community, creating an all-inclusive environment where people of Atlantic City can actively participate in the economic revitalization of Atlantic City's future. This forum will focus on black and white capitalism, working together to create red, white, and blue capitalism. Every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. We have gospel.com. The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Atlantic City, America, and welcome to the Atlantic City Power Hour, which Jimmy Whitehead just so happens to be blessed to be a part of. And Teddy Tache, are you online? Not yet? Lisa Diane Hall, you in the house?
Lisa Diane Hall's in the house.
Okay, and we have a host of warriors here today for what we're calling the new Atlantic City Press Corps, Media Corps, I think. Press Corps or Media Corps. Anyway, we have James King L.
Yes, sir.
We have Raymond Tyler. We have Derek Brock. We have Stuart Wolf. And we have my main man, Hank. What'd you call it? Hank Hammer? Hammer Hank? Hank the Hammer Green. Man, welcome, man. Welcome, everybody. Everybody say hello to Atlantic City.
Great to be here.
Hey, Atlantic
City. Thank you.
Good evening.
So, Atlantic City, we are going to split this hour up into two pieces. First, we're going to start talking about the drive right now that everybody's engaged in to vote no against this economic apartheid referendum in Atlantic City. And with that, I'm going to start off by handing it off to Derek Brock. Derek, give us a little bit of your opinion on what's going on, to your knowledge, and some of the steps that are being taken right now. I'd like you to start off, because you've been very engaged.
Okay, first of all, welcome everybody tonight. We're reaching a point where we're about to start going door to door. Since this initiative started about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we've been organizing and taking a look at the petitions and seeing if there's some issues with the petition, which we have found several issues of concern that we may be able to address through the court system. So there's a possibility that we may be able to subdue this whole petition. But in the meantime, we're not resting on our laurels. We're organizing, we're getting together, and we should be hitting the ground pretty strong within the next week. And that's where we are today.
Good. And also, we were reminded to get closer to the mic when you speak. Mr. Stuart Wolf, why don't you give us like a 1 or 2 minute overview of your position of where we are today and some of the things that need to go on with this vote no on March 31st endeavor of the community?
Absolutely, Jim. Number one, everybody's in this talking about mayor. I'm going to run for mayor. This one's going to run for mayor. That one's going to run for mayor. That's not the question that's before the people today. The question that's before the people today is, should we or should we not change the form of government? And let's look at who it benefits by changing the form of government. It was just released in the media that they raised $221,000. Where did that money come from? Many years ago, most of you don't remember, a city councilman by the name of Harold Mose. In the early 80s, he put out a flyer. I remember it like it was yesterday. that said, don't let big money fool you. What are they trying to do? They're trying to fool the average person. Who does a change of government benefit? Does it benefit the resident? Does it benefit the business owner? Of course it doesn't. It benefits a select, small group of people that have always wanted to seize the control of Atlantic City and push the residents that are left out. And then, at the same time, there have discussions going on the state level between the Assembly and the Senate for gambling to be in North Jersey. What is the real issue? The real issue is the average person. Doesn't matter your age, your color, your religion. In the last week since we did your show a week ago, Jim,
Our show, yes, sir.
I've heard and read more hateful, racial, religious statements
Wow.
that I've seen in my, I'm born and raised here,
Wow.
that I've seen in my whole life.
Wow.
And that needs to stop here and now.
Share some of this, what you've heard. What kind of racial things have you heard?
Well, anybody can go on Facebook, and I can name multiple sites. I can pick up my phone and read them to you. Black this, white that. I don't care what color your skin is. What matters is it? Does it matter? Does it matter what age you are? Does it matter what religion you are? Absolutely not. We don't elect officials because of the color of their skin or their religion. We elect them because we think they're best.
Now, I would agree with you if we lived in a perfect world, but we do know that right now in America, racism is alive and well.
Correct.
Right? It's not. If it went away tomorrow, I would never say it again. But I'm one of the first people who identify racist because I want to make sure everybody's included when I say it.
Correct.
So keep on. Yeah, go ahead.
And that I call on all the religious leaders, all the civics leaders, everyone in this whole county, not just in Atlantic City, to immediately today, now, to call for it to stop. Because if it doesn't, the young people of today will not stand for it. Back in my father's time, he came to this country at 9 years old from Germany. That's when they were putting us in the ovens. Young people today do not understand and will not tolerate religious or colorful hatred. Anybody that goes to the polls and doesn't understand to vote no, I would like to talk to. I'm in Atlantic City 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available to talk to anyone, including Bob McDevitt.
Okay, well, we're gonna address that. But let's get another opinion here. Somebody who's been a little bit engaged with this this process. Henry Hank Green, give us your thoughts on this whole what's been going on with this effort, and what do you think? What's your opinion of it?
My opinion is I'm learning. I'm learning from you guys. I've been listening to you guys back and forth on it. I've been doing a little bit of studying myself about the actual law that would go in play if it happened to go over. So I was just curious on more or less if we weren't able to achieve our goal, what is the repercussions in the backup plan? So I was more concerned about those particular things. Let's say we can't get enough people out to get out and vote. What happens next? I'm not hearing those types of things, more information on that, and how that process works. When I was reading the legislation, I noticed that they were talking about that if the process was to win and go over, they had to have 5 people already that they have had already nominated for those 5 seats. And I was like, well, can anyone else put people in to be nominated, even though they put this bill through, or how does that work? They have the power to be able to put in who they want. Can someone else run for those 5 commissioners things after that fact? So I haven't been hearing these types of things and those questions, and I'm just really looking for a resolution or what's the backup plan.
Well, first I can tell you this: we're gonna kill this thing. So it's not going to go through.
Okay.
We're going to kill it in the courts. Everybody's going to reach out to Governor Murphy, and First Lady Murphy and Lieutenant Governor Oliver and say, why don't y'all just squash this thing right now, because it was obtained illegally with teenagers getting signatures who are under 18. It was obtained fraudulently by not being honest with people and telling what this petition was about. And it's been obtained with a lot of bully tactics, because these guys in the Local 54 who are not good guys, they be threatening people that if you don't get this thing signed for us, well, you're not going to get a job the next time. So I don't want to get off on that yet, but look.
But that's a good point, Jimmy. That's a very good point, and that's something that we really need people to really understand, how much an effect that this is going to have on people's livelihoods, okay? Because once we change the government, we won't be able to dispute the ordinances, okay? When they come up with ordinances, our process to be able to dispute ordinances will change, will go away. We won't be able to elect a mayor. So these are very important issues that people really need to understand.
And people are going to lose their jobs in Atlantic City.
But Mr. Green brought up a very valid point.
Mr. Green.
Let's understand what he just said.
Yes.
The type of government that they want to bring in does not give you ward representation, the power, the throttle, the one man that'll hold the hammer is the man called the business administrator.
For life.
And once he's there for life.
For life.
You can't get rid of him. You brought up a good point. A week ago, we sat here.
Yeah.
And we asked, where does the governor stand on this? Right now, Atlantic City is under state control.
And 96% of the black people in the state of New Jersey voted for him.
Correct.
Right. Accountability.
But we are under state control.
Right.
He has not come out and said that immediately, if it passes, he's going to release the state control. He hasn't said he wouldn't release the state control. He's been silent.
Everybody's been silent who's an elected official.
Now,
I don't see everybody in the city council walking up and down with a shirt on that says vote no.
Yeah, because we do have the lieutenant governor right in Atlantic City.
Right.
That has an office right in Atlantic City. So the DCA is actually in Atlantic City with the main office here.
But Derek Brock and James E. King have been more vocal than the governor and the lieutenant governor. By the way, this brother, Vibe 609, is down in the community.
Yes, he is.
Right?
He is.
Now, we want to hear what you hearing with the people in the community, brother.
Well, we realized that before
Get a little closer to the mic.
before everything was on the table like it is now, we seen Shilliver, Oliver, we seen Attorney General, we seen everybody around riling up the people. But after they put down their plan to do what they're doing now, then they disappeared on us. You know what I mean? That's why they didn't show up to the women's march and all that. She made sure she was there last year to get everybody, you know what I mean, rocked to sleep. But this year, we found out what's going on. None of them been back yet.
Wow.
Can I ask you, as a representative of the news media,
Yes, sir.
would you please go to her office and get her? And I'll be more than happy to accompany you. And let's get her on record as to what her opinion on this change of government is.
Right.
That's a good point.
It must be answered.
I'm in agreement with all of us going.
And we also,
That's a great idea.
And
Whoever can go.
And Derek Brock and I also need some more warriors to show up when we have our next meeting at the Bangladesh Community Center, because we need you guys to step up with us, because it's in the numbers. And let me get a comment from...
When is that meeting, Jim?
Well, the next one will be next Tuesday, because this Tuesday we have our Opportunity Zone Black Capitalism Fund Summit. And all of you are invited, and the people who have been working with us are invited. It's complimentary invitation. But Mr. Tyler, I'd like to get your perspective, because you're in the media, you're in the neighborhoods. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now, and what have you been hearing?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here today.
Of course, brother.
Great to be here on the Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. And second of all, congratulations to Hank and his new show that's going to be on Vibe 609.
Oh, yes.
Coming up, I will be listening.
Bravo. I'm gonna be, that's
Great
my hero.
acquisition. So, with regards to the situation in the new form of government takeover, my biggest concern is to echo what Mr. Wolf said. You have a lot of people in the community, for whatever reason, they think that the upcoming election has to do with changing mayors in Atlantic City. And, you know, this one wants to run for mayor, that one wants to run for mayor, and they don't realize that the question is, vote. It's not even a question. Vote no on the change of government.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
Because any other vote, you won't be able to vote at all in the coming elections, or your vote won't mean anything.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of there still needs to be some clarification as to what this upcoming election is really about and what's really on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they, from what I've been hearing in the streets, they have been effective in confusing the electorate in Atlantic City.
Interesting.
That young man just made a very good point, and I just received a message about it. That's why you heard my phone.
Right.
They're confusing the issue.
Confusing the issue.
People are confused now. Are we voting for mayor? Are we voting for what?
Wow.
They don't understand what's put before them.
Right.
There's a spin doctor paid for by Local 54
Right.
named Ben Albert.
Yeah.
He's paid to put spins on things. And right now, it just came on my phone that the people are confused as to what the election's for. Are they voting for a mayor? What is the election about? We need to go to the average people and explain to them. This is not a mayoral election or a councilman election. It's a change of government question, which takes the power away from the people. In order for the people to remain and keep control of their city, they must vote no.
Now, Stuart, on that note, you just made a point. So it's about educating the grassroots population about what the issue is that they're voting on. You made a point that you made me think about something. Because, you know, we got some things we're organizing to increase awareness.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, I missed my point.
I want to
Lisa Diane Hall.
Jimmy, let me jump in there real quick, because I want to add something while you had your little mental block.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say that it's very disheartening, okay, and disenfranchising, I would say, that they would have such a huge initiative without any community outreach. That has been a very major concern of mine.
Sure.
Is that you would want that an organization would want to jam something like this down the citizens' throat, which to me shows that there's no real concern about the city itself.
It isn't.
Because if they was really concerned, they would go out and do outreach throughout the community, hold town hall meetings in various sections of the community, and then make us listen to the pros and cons of what their intentions are. But their whole argument is the city's bad, we're going to make it good. And to me, that just lines up for more corruption, because who's to say that these people aren't going to do anything as bad or worse?
I know what my mental block. I know what I was going to say. I went and look. I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm gonna be a straight shoot on this, and it's not putting nobody down or not putting nobody under. I'm just calling it straight as I'm learning. You know what I mean, brother? So I'm a member of the Taxpayers Association, which is a distinguished group of folks just like us, right? Now, majority of them in there, it was about the same ratio. It was 90% white people and it was 10% black people, because it was 2 black people. Just like in here, 90% black people, 1% white person. 10% white people, right? So it was a black and white mix. The white people are not as uneducated about what the issues of this petition is as some of our other communities, not just black, but Latino communities, etc. But the thing that stuck out with them is that, hey, I don't want to vote for something where somebody's going to have a job for life, and I don't even know if they're a crook or not. That's the thing that sticks out with the white community. And from this tax association meeting, I was listening to them speak, and the guy that owns Ducktown, he was talking
Johnny
about
X.
Yeah, he was talking about his opposition for the referendum, and he admitted, he said, I don't know anything about the referendum. I don't know nothing about it. I just don't like the people that's in there right now. And basically, you could just say why you don't like the people in there right now. So when he said that, the other white people responded and said, well, we don't care about all that. What we care about is we don't want a dictator running the city for life. Because that's part of the deal.
Jim, can I interrupt
Please,
you
go
for
ahead.
a minute?
Go ahead, brother.
In order to call into the talk show, what is your phone number?
The phone number for the talk show, wonderful. Teddy Tache, you online? Okay. The number is 609-641-8870. Again, that's 609-641-8870. And I'm going to type it on my page so anybody want to call in and see the number.
As I'm sitting here streaming this live,
yes, sir.
I know there are elected officials that are listening to this show.
Sure.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
I see their names.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect them to call in
Yes.
and tell us their position on this change of government issue.
Brilliant idea.
Again, that phone number is
609-641-8870.
please, for everyone's good, for the city's good,
Yes.
for the residents' good, for the workers' good,
So
for the city's good, I urge you, pick your phone up and please call this station and put yourself on record as to where you stand.
Let's hear the green man.
That's right.
are there other groups out there that is for this initiative of making sure that people vote against no? Is it just this group, or is there another group?
Yes.
So there are other groups.
Yeah, there are other groups, community groups,
Individual.
City Hall that pulled together, City Hall groups that's been networking with the community. Then Derek and I, we have a group of people who meet every Tuesday at the Bangladesh Community Center.
Do all of those groups on the same that want the same thing collectively come together?
Yes, sir.
And meet and
Yes, sir.
strategize on
Yes,
how
sir.
to attack?
Yes, sir.
The issue.
There's no division between us.
Okay. Moving forward, what's the plan on? Because right now we're talking that the community basically is discombobulated and don't understand really what's going on, or uneducated about the whole process in the first place. So I take that, and from my understanding and being a part of the community, that really I don't really care about what's going on.
Right.
I'm not paying attention. I don't know anything. I could care less. I'm moving on with my daily life.
That's why, excuse me for cutting you
Yeah.
off. That's why I said last week when I was here, after this initiative is killed, we have to stop playing these games where. One thing I like about this coalition here.
Yes, sir.
I know James. I know Hank. I know Derek. We've all been at competing radio stations, but we never owned the stations.
Right.
And it was never a situation where I saw James come in and I turned my back on him and be like, well, forget Vibe 609, forget WOND. But we play those games with politics,
Yeah.
and now our chickens are coming home to roost,
Yeah.
as Malcolm would say.
Yeah.
Because you got some people who against whoever the last mayor is, against who the current mayor is, and you got other people who want to run for mayor, and the mayor who's in there now was specially elected, and so now you got people who are in Atlantic City who thinking, oh, well, I don't like this new guy, and my boy is supposed to be running for mayor next, so I'm going to vote yes on this change of government. And it's all convoluted.
But
so that's what I'm saying.
To that
once
end,
this is over, those kind of petty politics need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Unless unless we catch the current administration colluding with a foreign power. No, I'm serious.
Right.
We need to go ahead and roll with, at least in public. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and that's the thing that,
And
that
that's the
kills
issue.
me. That's the
Right
that's the thing that
now,
kills me. I just want to
this
say one
process.
thing. I want to just say one thing. If I ever had a beef with Hank, Why would I come on WEHA and blow him up when I got his number in my phone?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's how we sitting here with this problem in our hands now, trying to educate five and six different communities about what the issue is now.
And so, like you said, what I've definitely been hearing is, haven't been understanding nothing about the referendum, nothing about the referendum.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about all these different people right now that's jockeying for position to run for mayor of Atlantic City.
Right.
That's all you hear.
That's all you
that's
hear.
All
And we can't even. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, the people don't know nothing about the referendum. That's why when people are talking, and not only are the people don't know about it, you don't see, like you said earlier, the people who are already elected in those particular positions, who, if they want to keep those positions after actually knocking on doors and telling people what's going on, because they never did it when they got elected themselves the first time when they took. They don't know what it takes because they don't really do that. You know what I mean? They don't go out there and explain to people and give them what they're going to do and what they're all about. And this is where you have to have that strength and that understanding and that willpower to go out there and do those particular things. And when you're not accustomed to doing those particular things, it don't come easy. You just don't one day start doing the right thing the way that it's supposed to be done. And right now, there's a situation, if you haven't been doing it and we haven't been doing it as a community, it's hard to go out there. They're not walking out there knocking on those doors, talking to each person and letting them know how important the situation is and clarifying the situation up with them. No one's doing that.
No, Hank, and I can appreciate what you're saying, but that is our actual intention. Unfortunately, the leadership that we are dealing with isn't addressing it the way it should be done properly. And I agree with you. We should be knocking on doors. And we had an incident this weekend when we were supposed to be doing that, and the ball kind of got dropped with that. That's kind of the reason why we have different factions and things going on, because if we did rely on one particular faction, we would probably be much further behind, unfortunately. So we have to call a spade, deal with it accordingly. And we got to get out of this thing where we're trying to protect our friends and family members that we like that are in government. Because if they're not there doing the responsible thing that they should be doing, then they should be held accountable. This election, this particular referendum didn't just fall in our lap, okay? This is a direct result of years of neglect by our local government. Okay, this is a direct result of that.
Absolutely.
And there is a report out there that explicitly explains all the charges that the city had as far as being irresponsible. So we need to really look at who we have in office today, and we really need to look who we holding accountable for their actions, because that is a big issue. I don't care if you're black, white, blue, or green. Okay? The issue is, are they doing the right thing, and have they been doing the right thing?
Right.
Bottom line, some people don't like when we speak like this because they want to protect their friends.
Absolutely.
And they want their friends to win elections and their friends to be in office for whatever patriotism that they can get out of that.
It keeps us delusional as a community, and where we dummy down and can't understand and don't understand what was going on right now and why we can't get the people to do. That's the process. This is what the environment they've created.
Right.
See, hold on. This is what I missed. Let me tell you, this is what I missed. Hearing Henry Hank Green. Is it Henry Hank or Hank Henry?
Henry Hank.
Henry Hank Green. I missed this voice in Atlantic City. I mean, this brother right here always has been very methodical about what he talks about, and he got passion in it. But when him and Kevin Hall had a show, Lisa Hall, Dan Hall, LDTV is engaged in everything. We are here because of her. Bravo to Lisa, Dan Hall, please. LDTV, WEHA. But this brother has always been that voice in the community that was really speaking the truth with facts, right?
Yes.
And I'm so glad just to hear your voice, brother. You hear me? Because see, Derek, what's happening, because of this referendum, guess what? Hank Green is sitting here.
I know.
Okay, Derek is sitting here.
Yeah.
We've created a mobile network that we decided to do this mobile media core. And with our mobile network, now instead of 1,000 people hearing us and seeing us, I don't know what that is, instead of 1,000 people watching us, now collectively all these different viewers are watching us. So we want to grow this watch exponentially. So when Hank Green Man, I'm gonna call you Green Man. When the Green Man boy speaks, he speaks volumes to 100,000 people. Now if there's only 30,000 people in Atlantic City, and we reaching 100,000 people, that means our message is getting beyond the borders of Atlantic City. And Atlantic City, well, hold on. Atlantic City residents are waking up. I've been seeing a new surge, a tidal wave kind of a surge, where you got old black women and old black men showing up. You got young people showing up. It was a sister there Saturday. She was in her 20s. She was ready to knock on doors, so I invited her to the summit. So I think what Derek said and what all of you have said, Atlantic City is waking up. Henry Hank Green is sitting here now because of this issue. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you say something, Raymond.
Yeah, well, two things. Thing number one, for real, Atlantic City is waking up. If Atlantic City wasn't waking up and coming back strong, they wouldn't want no part of the of the government takeover anyway.
Right.
But the other thing I just want to say, I want to commend James
Vibe
and
609.
Hank again, Vibe 609,
Thank you.
and Hank again, because as long as I've been on the air, every time I have something that's positive going on, these brothers share it.
Okay.
They don't even ask me if I can share it. I post it, and 2 minutes later, Hank Green has shared your event.
Okay, we have a caller online. Yeah, caller, who's online? Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
This caller, Steve Young. Steve here. I just want to say hello to everyone. I'm the listening audience, and I wish I could be there with you brothers, but I'm out of town right now taking care of some other business.
Okay.
I just want to follow up from last week.
Yes,
some
sir.
things that we was talking about, and that is the MISRA Act. The Municipal Stabilization Act is still in force for going to be more than 5 years because Atlantic City's in debt. That means the state is controlling Atlantic City. I don't care if you have a different change of government, an administrator, or a manager. Still, the state of New Jersey is the one that's in charge of Atlantic City. And that's from the governor all the way to the lieutenant governor's office. We got to keep our eyes on the prize. When this is over, and after the 31st, we still have them in charge, no matter who's there.
Right.
Another thing that really affected us, and I haven't heard you guys talk about it yet, I'm not sure.
Sure.
How is it that here it is, after we told everybody to come to a meeting last week, that when we get there, it wasn't a transparent meeting, and some people was told
That's what I want to talk about.
what do we have to hide, and how can we strategize and educate our people? I'm going to let them know what's going on.
Absolutely.
I had a problem with that, and I know some of you did too, and we need to speak on it so we can solve that issue so we can move forward. Don't say we're unified, and we're really not. We cannot continue to play that game.
There, the truth called in. Okay, so we're going to let James King speak on that. I'm going to turn my TV computer thing around for me. Go ahead, Brother King. Give us your thoughts on this transparency issue with this referendum issue.
All right. Well, I want to say, first of all, dealing with the referendum, you got to look at it like this. The United States is supposed to be, it's actually a republic, but everybody, they plays into a democracy. Now, if they was able to push this referendum through, the democracy would be gone, which means that you won't be able to vote for who you would like to see in office, whether it's mayor, city council, etc. Now, what I want to touch on, since I left it with the mayor and the city council, I'm very disappointed in the fact that a lot of the press were in the building, and we came to try to bring awareness to everybody about what's going on. And the first time we came, the mayor didn't allow it to happen. So we let him know, you're infringing the right to the press, First Amendment rights, things of that nature, You're my friend, but you're infringing in my business. So then he was like, it's fine. So then he said, the next week, y'all will be all right. So then I don't want to put him out there, but I'm going to put him out there. The brother Raymond Tyler came all the way from Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? He had prior engagements, and he came through, and I felt bad about that because I encouraged him to come. I'm one of the people that encouraged him to come, and he wasn't even able to, to serve the purpose of why he came. So, it's sad when you see a chief executive officer not understand basic rights. You know what I mean? Rights of the press. And I like to also add on, you cannot have a town hall meeting and it be private. The name town hall itself is a public gesture. You understand? So that made no sense. We feel highly offended about that. And I just don't want to go over the fact that if this referendum goes through, you won't be able to select anybody.
Yeah.
They'll just dictate all the way from Philadelphia who they want in that office. And all your wards, all your people, all the councilmen from all the wards, they could come from one ward. Or they can possibly come from another town itself.
Yeah.
Or one family.
Or one family. You know what I mean? And I agree. You know what I'm saying? With everybody too friendly. You know what I'm saying? I think Marty, you know what I'm saying, he's good at playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? We need some people that's dedicated to the cause. You know what I mean? That really communicate with the people, that really, you know what I'm saying, really care.
But that gentleman just made a point.
Thank you, Brother King.
We have elected
609.
officials in Atlantic City today.
Yes.
Mayor and 9 council members.
Right.
They do not have the power to run the day-to-day operations of Atlantic City.
That's right.
They are run by a state monitor, and he, the governor, and Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver call the day-to-day shots.
Right.
The police department, like them or don't like them. Do they today have civil service status under the state takeover? No, they do not. So everybody is in jeopardy under this state takeover. You can be hired, you can be fired, as long as the state approves it. They have not said clearly from anybody, let's change the government, let's not change the government. All of a sudden they left silent. They were all here for the glad-handed.
Yep.
When they wanted pictures taken, they knew how to show up. They were at every picture-taking ceremony. They were, including in Hamilton.
Yes.
They were everywhere. Now that there's a question before the people, they're silent. Why are they silent? Why are the players that used to be in the game 25 years ago that have retired, such as Stephen Persky,
Yeah.
who you have not heard a word
Yeah, I
from in
thought about
25
that.
years?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, back in the game. Is it for the residents' benefit? Is it for the taxpayers' benefit? Is it for the local person's benefit? Is it for the business's benefit? Mutual Cab Company's been in business since I was a little boy.
1955.
Baltimore Grill's been in business long before I was a little boy. White House Sub Shop was in business long before I was thought of. What do you think they think? You think they're prospering and doing well? The state has been in place in Atlantic City for how long now? The state monitor has been sitting in that chair calling the day-to-day shots.
Okay, Stuart, let's do this. And I really appreciate all the thoughtfulness in the discussion, but we want to stay focused on what this is about. Vote no. Okay, we're here to lead the community and stay focused on vote no. This doesn't have anything to do with anybody running for mayor or what anybody ever did. This is only about one thing right now. We got to kill this Willie Lynch. You know, when I was working out this morning, I do this thing, you know, James King, exercise your mind, body, and vote. Yeah. So I just had this thought in my mind. You remember some years ago, some white guys in a pickup truck tied what do you call these things?
Noose.
A noose around his brother's neck and dragged him behind the truck till he was dead. And a caricature came in my mind at that time. And I said, here we're going to have a noose tied around a black man's neck, a Bangladesh man's neck, an Asian man's neck, a Jewish man's neck, all these different ethnic, all the people in Atlantic City, one from each race. We're going to tie a noose around their neck. And on the noose, the rope is going to say referendum, right? The rope right there, you see referendum. Now, all these people in Atlantic City, the whites, the blacks, the Jews, everybody, all the good people got a noose in their neck. And then you take those 4 guys, especially the little puffy-faced, red-faced guy that runs a union, and you put those 4 white guys in the pickup truck. And they driving the truck, and behind the truck, they dragging the people of Atlantic City on this noose called the referendum, right? So when I saw that caricature, I said, you know what, man? And I looked at their picture. I was showing their picture of those 4 guys, you know, and I'm not saying, here again, I'm not a racist. You know, I got some white in my family somewhere. They are.
They are. I'm not afraid
And I looked at that picture, and I'm looking at the picture, and I told the people who I was showing it to, I said, just imagine you see these 4 faces walk up to you. What you think? You gonna be scared. You can say them dudes they not good, especially the one that run the union. Okay? So the bottom line is, we got to stay focused on this issue of voting no. Stewart, Derek, and I, and James Z. King, and Lisa Dan Hall, and Raymond, and now Henry Hank Green in the house. We're going to come up with...
Henry Hank Green in the morning.
Yes, in the morning. We're going to give you some instructions that we're doing there, because what we're doing, we have a very brilliant political strategist working with us and giving us some advice, probably one of the most brilliant political strategists in America, right? And what they have told us, we're going through the petitions right now, and we're finding petitions of people who we know. And then we calling them up and finding out that teenagers was out getting signatures. That's illegal.
Children, too.
Right? Children. They under 18. We finding out that who signed the petition ain't the person who brought it to the door. Okay? Then these are affidavit kind of things that's illegal and unethical. So when we present these things, the governor should get up and say, you know what? We don't have a problem with the McDevitt doing a petition, but we got to throw this one in the trash and let them start all over again. But when you start over again, do it the right way.
They can't bring it up for 3 years.
Well, fine. Don't bring it up. I mean, I don't want it to ever come up, but I'm just saying. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't do it legally.
Right.
So it should be, what they say about O.J. Simpson? If it don't fit, you should have quit.
Quit.
But
We need to invite Bob McDevitt to this show.
As one of your listeners,
should.
As one of your
We're gonna go
listeners
to
is
him.
pointing out, this is not a racially motivated event. It's a greed motivated.
The referendum?
Event. Yes,
There's
sir.
a little bit of racism mixed up in there.
Yes, but
because they don't like to see black people running Atlantic
They don't
City.
like to see Jews run it either.
They don't, no.
But let's call it as it is.
Right.
They've raised $221,000.
That's okay, 'cause
And
guess
none of
what?
it-
We
none of
raised
it
$3
come-
billion.
But none
So,
of it, hold
yeah.
on. Did it come from Atlantic County, that
No.
money?
No.
So why would outsiders?
But let's don't talk about them. Let's talk about us.
I got a point I want to make real
Yeah,
quick.
please.
Can somebody please repeat the bill, what's going on, and when the date, and why it's important again for the audience out there that's listening to us right now?
You want to, Derek?
Yes.
The bill, the referendum.
The referendum.
I always call it a bill, too.
The referendum that's going on, because it's not clear, and we talking about how unclear it is. We have a lot of people
Derek
on all of
things
these
very simple.
networks right now listening to us right now. So clear up to them exactly what's going on right now.
Go ahead, Derek.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. Okay. All right.
And I'm filming Bill in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about this delay. Somebody go ahead and keep talking. till I
Okay,
pull
well,
it up.
while Derek is looking for, bottom line is there's a referendum that's got to be voted no against on March 31st. Because if they get the referendum through, there's going to be something you vote for. There's 2 elections. There's an election in March only for the referendum. Nobody running for office is involved with the March election. It's only the referendum.
Okay.
Okay, here's Derek.
Okay, now this is going to be a bit lengthy, so Hank, I really appreciate you pointing that out, but just so you guys know, it's a bit lengthy.
Okay,
and
that's okay. Go ahead. The clearer the better.
Okay, now this is how it starts. It's understanding the petition to change Atlantic City's government. What exactly is going on? The petition has been submitted for a special election to change AC's form of government. The change will be from our current council mayor form of government to a council manager form. Voters will have the opportunity to vote yes or no on the question on March 31st. Okay, 9 city council members, 1 from each ward, and 3 at large. That's the current form of government. We have 9 city councils and 1 from each ward, and 3 at large. Okay, it's actually going to change. Voters will elect a mayor once every 4 years. This is the current government. Voters have initiative and a referendum power, and we can petition and implement and overturn our city ordinances. Elections are in November. Now, if we go to a manager form of government, voters will elect 5 city council members, all at large. Council members choose a mayor among themselves. Council hires a city manager to run city operations. Persons does not have to be a city resident. That's very important. Manager is tenured after 3 years, and the elections are held in May. So that's a significant change, because the reason May and November is significant because the voter turnout is already low in Atlantic City. So when you have elections in an off date or off time of year, the turnout becomes even lower because of that. So that's something I really want to point out, because this referendum is counting on low voter participation. This is really what this is based on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are the supporters saying? The council manager form of government will provide streamlined, efficient, and morally responsible leadership. By passing this referendum, Atlantic City residents will enjoy safe, clean streets, a balanced budget, lower property taxes, smart growth, which will result in new development that will raise the living standards of all Atlantic City residents. Do these promises sound familiar? Who else is supporting this petition? Let's take a look. We have Ray Lisnick, former senator from North Jersey, Morris Belly, resorts owner, Atlantic City Residents for Good Government. Also, there's a list of all the people who are donating. There's quite a few. Most of them are Atlantic City residents. What does this mean for Atlantic City residents? No wards, no representation.
Talk about the other stuff. I don't want to talk about their plan. I want to talk about.
Well, we're going to touch on all of it. Now, this is where we're going into exactly what you're talking about. What does it mean for Atlantic City residents? No wards, no representation, no voting rights, no voice, no initiative and referendum equal no citizen power. Appointed city manager, no accountability. Nonpartisan elections in May, not November, low voter turnout, voter confusion. So that's very important again. And why? State takeover is scheduled to end in 2021. Residents fought back water privatization in 2017 using our initiative and referendum power, beachfront property, and Beta Field. This is not a done deal, guys. Voters will ultimately decide this special election. The next step, stay informed, attend citywide organization meetings, get engaged, volunteer to help the campaign against the change in government, spread the word, talk to your family and neighbors, vote no on election day.
Right now on my phone, there's an elected official in Atlantic City that wants to call in and voice his opinion. The phone number is 609-641-8810.
70.
I'm sorry, the phone number again is 609-641-8870. 609-641-8870. The phone line is open right now, awaiting your call, Councilman. We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
So that clears
If
up.
you dare.
That clears up a lot of for the people that are listening. I think that gives them a starting point for those, because I think many people didn't understand or was very much confused on what was going on.
Yeah.
And now they know that it's an election coming up March 31st that they're much needed participation for. In our city, the more elections you have, the lesser people start to come out, or they wonder, they feel like people are bothering. You got people knocking at your doors all the time. And, and I do these particular things, and people,
You mean all the people or just some communities?
Most people. Most communities, all these communities around here really are fed up like that. As the more elections you start having and things like that, that's why it was so strange that they was having it before the actual primary that was coming up, or in June.
No, it's a crooked process. It's a bamboozled referendum. But again, I think you guys, Atlantic City fought back that water thing before, right?
The MUA.
Didn't the citizens turn out? Okay.
I'm gonna say here on live radio, the councilman that I'm speaking of that wanted the phone number, again it's 609-641-8870. I believe he's on the line now.
Okay. Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm not the councilman, but Mr. Whitehead, we've been trying to get on touch base.
My man, yes, you still didn't come. Okay. When do you want to, you know what, you just come over to the Showboat. Or when are you coming to the summit?
Yeah, when is the summit?
The summit will be on, we're going to talk about it next too, because we're going to move on from this petition. The summit is going to be on the 12th, Wednesday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Show up at the Showboat. And come and look for me. I'll be at the front desk. And you come on over there at the Showboat at 8 o'clock on the 12th for the summit, the Opportunity Zone Black Capitalism Fund Summit. Okay?
Yeah, but we supposed to been trying to get together.
Down at the center, down at the Bangladesh Center.
Yeah, I'm talking about on a Monday. Like you plan on being at the thing this Monday?
This Monday is after this is a City Hall is having their Monday community meeting about this petition over at All Wars Memorial.
Yes.
So when I leave here today, I was going over there because we changed our date at the community center to accommodate the city hall's efforts. So you want to coordinate? You want to meet tonight?
Well, yeah. What time is the thing at Warsaw?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
I'll reach out. I'll be there.
I'll meet you there at 6 o'clock. Okay, you gonna be there by 6:30?
Yeah.
Why don't you get there? Let me tell you the truth. Why don't you get there before 6:15? Because the way those meetings have been going, unfortunately, the crowds have been getting smaller.
Right.
And so meet me there by 6:15 because I don't want to just be hanging around. Okay.
Well, maybe we need to make that announcement to get some more people down there already
brother.
listening.
Yeah, everybody tonight, if you're listening, you want to be engaged with the City Hall is having a town hall meeting this evening at 6 o'clock at the All Wars Memorial.
Soldiers Home.
Soldiers Home. The address is?
If I come, turn on
1500 Adriatic Avenue.
1500 Adriatic. So we're going to be over there tonight, and I hope to see more folks show up tonight because we need hundreds, thousands of volunteers. We need thousands of volunteers because what we're going to do in March 1st, we're kicking our plan into full gear. You'll know about something we're going to do in the last week of March.
Correct.
That will kick our plan full gear so that every day of March, we're going to have some door-knocking activity. We're going to have some community upliftment activity. So starting March 1st through March 31st, we're going to have something going on every day.
I would like to take a moment and apologize to Councilman George Tibbet. George Tibbet has been trying to follow us through my feed. My feed keeps cutting out. Councilman Tibbet, we know you're trying to reach the show. We know that you have an opinion. Again, the phone number is 609-641-8870. You have a few minutes left to call in.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
And we'd
call
love
in.
to hear from you
Call in,
now.
Councilman. Love
Thank
to hear
you,
from
Councilman.
you. James King, do you have anything you want to share before we end this show?
Just wanted to give a big special shout out to all the good brothers in here representing all these different call letters. I'm from Vibe 609 Radio, and I just wanted to say, make sure y'all tune in the mornings to talk to Henry Hank Green in the morning show. You must download the app on Google Play Store, and he is not. Yo, he had me biting my nails this morning.
Yeah, Hank is a man. Tyler, you got some last words in closing as we move forward with our mobile team?
Yes, I do. Vote no.
Yes.
On
Right.
the referendum.
Vote no.
Number one. Number two, with all due respect to everybody here, I would be remiss if I didn't re-clarify and restate my point. I do think that we can do more together than 8 people trying to run for mayor at the same time.
Agreed.
Now, everybody that I can think of, from Bob Levy on and Rennie Langford before that, I felt like had their best interests of Atlantic City at heart, whether they ran for mayor or not. And Hank has run for mayor, and Jimmy has run for mayor.
Sure.
And I think you gentlemen have had the best interests of the city at heart.
Absolutely.
I think Marty is doing a tremendous job. I know at least 2 other people, Moses Delgado and Pam Thomas Fields, want to run, and I believe they would do a tremendous job given the opportunity. The only thing I'm saying is I don't see the value of coming on this radio station and blowing any of those guys up for any problems that I have with them when I can call them up and talk to them personally.
Yeah, well, that's
so that's my opinion.
Yeah, them days is over, man. See, that's part of the problem. See, that's
you
what
and I will have to debate that.
Well, I'm not going to call on no phone
But
to debate that. I'm going to state mine publicly. I'm really tired of that position that we've taken. To me, that's the weak way out. Because first of all, there's a democratic process when you talk about elections. Just because we have multiple people running, there's a primary process. The people that are running aren't all running against each other. They're running for the top spot to be the Democratic nominee. Mm-hmm. So that is part of our public and democratic process. So I don't think anyone should be offended when other people are trying to get in the race. I think that's something that, as citizens, we should be open to every candidate that has an idea, and then we pick the best out of all. Not to saying that Marty or whoever else shouldn't be mayor, but as residents, we deserve every choice.
Options. I think we deserve options, and that gives.
And I'm not going to debate you on that, but what I'm saying is, especially as a person who is a part of the media, it doesn't make sense for me to come on the radio station
And you
say
haven't.
I got a problem with you.
And you haven't.
You know, and try. You know, I'm just. You know, I'm
if
just
I can
clarifying
interject,
my.
before-
you know,
before
my
we end the hour.
It's still a professional,
right, you're very,
professionalism
very,
and
very
unbiased. If you want the radio,
I'm not
you
media.
understand. You know what I mean? Media. as it is.
Right,
You have to, you know what I mean? Even with me, I'm a have my opinion, but I want to be able to give the person that I'm talking to their chance to be able to say what they had to say and come back and have their opinion and be.
And
You know what I mean?
If we look,
Tyler, hold on a minute. Let's get a couple other opinions before we go.
Let's not dilute the issue. The issue is a very simple issue.
You got 1 minute.
Do not take the people's rights away of electing who they want in office, whomever it may be.
Right.
If you change the form of government, you will have one boss. He's there for life. Your votes at that point will never matter again. He is there forever. So I urge everybody that's listening to this show, in March, on Election Day, for your rights, our rights, and for the betterment of Atlantic City and Atlantic County, you must vote no.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Hank Green, you got 1 minute?
Hey, I just would say that right now they educate me about a lot. We have to turn this rhetoric into action, and the action is really start knocking and talking to people or setting up in places around the city to catch people's eye, to pull them into the conversation and change the culture that we've had where people are unengaged until engaging them.
Okay, and just for the record, none of us are here for any mayoral campaign at all. We are here for
Except
one
me.
thing: vote no.
I vote for you.
Vote no. Yeah, Latoya Dunston, we all love you. But here's the bottom line: we are here to get the community to vote no on March 31st against this referendum. Whatever somebody, if their feelings get hurt because somebody says something about them, whatever, so what? Get over it.
Yes,
This
sir.
is a focus on the freedom of the people having the right to vote. If your feelings are hurt, we're sorry. We'll get you a box of chocolate candies for Valentine's Day.
And
But
some
let's move
Kleenex.
forward to get these brothers and sisters. When I say brothers and sisters, I'm talking about all the brothers and sisters
That's right.
of all colors.
All colors,
to
all
vote
religion,
no.
all ages.
But vote no against
Vote
the referendum.
no.
And then let's vote in the next election about who's going to run the city better.
And please,
you
anyone
go.
that,
3 minutes.
anyone that would like a sticker.
Hold on. You had your minute.
All right, now I will want to say, because every time I'm somewhere, they always tell me about all people. James King L is not against no people. I'm just proud of my people, and I'm looking forward to working with all people collectively together to win this thing. And I strive to be as professional as Raymond Tyler.
Okay. You got 30 seconds, Stuart. Go ahead, Stuart.
Anyone that's listening,
sir.
that wants vote no stickers.
Yes, sir.
Anyone at all. My cell phone number is 856-649-6091. My phone is on 24 hours a day. We will deliver them to you. I don't care if I put my phone number on the air. 856-649-6091 is my cell number. If you want vote no stickers, we will bring them to you.
And we're going to close this show with Sean Rock. We're going to give Sean Rock the last couple of minutes because he's going to sing about the city that we ain't going to give up. Because the people are rising. Henry Hank Green is in the house with the vote no. And this mobile media corps, President Lisa Dan Hall, thank you, Queen of LDTV. Thank you, Stuart Wolf. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Raymond Tyler. Thank you, James Z. Thank you, everybody, and thank America. God bless you.
I'm running for mayor in 10 years.
Take us out, Sean. Take us out.
Got the tourists in love. Summertime beach bars make you feel like you a star. Windows cracked down, AC Ave, the music blast. From the hip hop shop to sneaker villa. Parties in the inlet, never forget they ain't a place filler. Every day is live from push carts to jitney rides. Boardwalk after dark, still peer with your peers. Soul food, the funnel cakes. Welcome to the Garden State. You gotta love this place. Heart of the tri-state. From the landmark to land shark. Barbecues in the park, battle by the bay. The city so full of spark. This is my city till death do us part. So no matter where I go, it's AC to the heart.
City, driving down the boulevard, showing what we're made of. That's why they come from near and far. Atlantic City, 'cause casinos lit up in the dark. High stakes, we made it. We shine bright among the stars. Atlantic City's
The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour, power to the people, talking about the power of the people of Atlantic City, a platform for people to discuss ideas of the community, creating an all-inclusive environment where people of Atlantic City can actively participate in the economic revitalization of Atlantic City's future. This forum will focus on black and white capitalism, working together to create red, white, and blue capitalism. Every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. WeHaveGospel.com. The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people.
WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM Translator 100.3, W262CF, Atlantic City, Pleasantville.